It's another quick video I threw together for a friend of mine out in Kansas City. Wanted to give him an idea of, it's actually for Jim O'Loughlin, wanted to give him an idea of what I still have left after I sold everything off and what I have here in Florida, and then we have a technical operations center in Indianapolis, which is where all the heavy lifting is really done. This system I have set up here in Florida is kind of for my own use, and I kind of monitor everything that's going on. These meters that we're looking at over here, the ones that are currently moving, those are different radio stations that I am responsible for, and that's monitoring them. The information is being sent back here by a barracks box that's hooked up to a radio at their transmitter sites. So if those meters stop, that means the radio station is definitely not on the air. Those little barracks boxes down there on the bottom, those are the Barracks 100 X streamers. This particular computer here is for Colorado Springs Christian radio station, KFCS. It's a currently we're just doing some streaming for them until they take over. Folks take over in Phoenix. Some audio processing equipment that we use here. As you can see, we make big use of the Aphex compellers, and here's also a DBX audio processor as well. We also use a lot of these Lexicon Alphas that are little interface units to connect computers to balanced audio. We move out here and go over and take a look at some of the other equipment here. Down here in the bottom is another switcher. As you can see, the switcher on the top is switching the Colorado Springs station, and the switcher on the bottom is used to switch the telephone system around to all the different computers. And the telephone system is right here. It's a Comrex stack system. It's a digital stack system. It works quite well. As a matter of fact, if we go over here, you'll get a look at the screen for the stack system, and if you happen to be using it, you could be seeing the same screen by just logging into this screen. You could punch up the callers, put them on hold, see who are there. If I put them up here, you'll see exactly the same thing on the Comrex stack system. Go back over here again, and this is a Catholic radio station in Palm Beach. This is WPBV, Palm Beach EWTN Catholic station. As we move up here, you'll see some of the other equipment that we use. The barracks boxes, Barracks Box 500 over there on the right is sending us information back from our Technical Operations Center in Indianapolis, where, as I say, all the heavy lifting is really done. And we're also here on the left and below, you'll see remote control systems, and these remote control systems are monitoring all of the stations. So if any of them go off the air, it logs when they went off the air, it sets off an alarm and lets me know that something's not happening. It's a very cool little device right here in the middle. This is a Ambos satellite receiver. It receives hundreds of Christian radio programs and downloads them, and then transfers them from a MP3 file over to a WAV file and puts them into the Simian automation system. Above here are some various interface equipment, some leftover Bell modulation monitors that are not being used anymore. And get down over here, and now we're taking a look at this is WJPP and WPBV switchers, kind of hiding in there. You'll see the audio processors right above them. As I come up, this is the WJPP Simian system, and in that particular screen, behind that screen, are 8 more computers that are doing various functions for me here. We use a lot of, as I said, we're using a lot of these little Aphex units and a lot of the alpha Lexicon Alphas, which you can see right here as interface units for streaming. Here's a Sage digital encode for WJPP, the digital encode receiver, NDEC, if you will. The older receiver is above. We'll get over here to the main rack and board. This is an interesting board. It's a Yamaha It's not a terribly expensive board, but it has 32 inputs. It has a significant number of sends, which is perfect for what I like to do here. And it's pretty reliable, and it was less than $1,500. And if we get in here, once again, this is the switcher we're using, and then there's the Comrex access unit. Some more monitoring equipment in the middle, and another Aphex compeller. And this is a different digital alert system, as you can see here, for the Palm Beach radio station. And then as we move back up here, there's some more Comrex bricks up there. There's a new brick 2 and 2 older brick units that we use to interconnect to people that are out doing remotes. And we're going to come down over here and take a look at the 2 more switchers down here hiding behind the microphone stand. Switchers and Aphex compellers for the Mostly Sinatra channel and Classic America. It's a Mostly Sinatra channel there. And we move up, and here's some more computers. We use quite a few of these Asus computers. They seem to be pretty reliable and aren't terribly expensive. This is the messy rack over here. This rack has all of the internet equipment in it. And we also have a lot of our streaming equipment here, as well as the EWTN. This little barracks box here is the main EWTN receiver that we have that picks up both EWTN channels and provides it to our Catholic radio stations. And then a little bit above that, you'll see the Comrex stack rack part of the system. And essentially that's what we have here at the Technical Operations Center here in Vero Beach, Florida. I get accused of operating a multi-million-dollar business out of here. Don't I wish? Not so at all. As I say, all the heavy lifting is really done in Indianapolis at our big Technical Operations Center up there. And this is leftover equipment I had after I sold Global American Broadcasting, and added a little bit to it, and it works out quite well, keeps me busy. I'm going to move over here just a little bit. We're going to take one more look at my sort of messy desk here. But here is where I do all of the programming for the various stations in Palm Beach and in Stewart and in Colorado Springs and Phoenix, using the natural log system. And I have a natural log system, and each one of the radio stations are in that log system. Here's a view of the logging system I'm using. It's called Natural Log. Works really well. And what I have done here in other clocks, I have built 12 clocks for all the EWTN stations. EWTN has 12 clocks that they use in both their domestic and their classic stations. So I built these clocks so that I can go back and pick them up anytime I need to do so. This particular clock is an A clock, and what it does is basically a template for whatever is going to happen on this radio station. It will switch. This particular one switches on at 12 midnight and puts the domestic channel on the air. It stays there until exactly 12:18, and at 12:18 there is a commercial break for 2 minutes, which returns at 12:20. Same thing at 12:37 through 12:39. There's a commercial break for 2 minutes, which 2 spots can be inserted into, such as the previous one. 2 spots can be inserted there, and they could be 2 1-minute spots. I could change that and have it set for 4 spots, so I could put a combination of 30s and 60s in there if I needed to. Then at 12:57:45, it switches out, plays another 2-minute break, and at 59:45, it goes and plays a legal ID, a card that has a lot of legal IDs in them. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to close this out. I'm going to go to logs, and I'm going to show you how to build a log. This is going to build an instant log for, let's see what date it is. It's going to be for Monday, November the 13th. So let's let it go do its job here. Now what it's doing is it's assembling the log. It's taking all the templates that I put in and for all of the hours of the day for that day, because there are A clocks, C clocks, F clocks, L clocks, you name it. There are all these different clocks that I have already created a home for them. And now it's building that log, and it's inserting the information that we want to put in there automatically for us. Now, this is a more sophisticated way of doing logs by using natural log. Natural grid is an easy way to do it, an expensive way, but you have little to no flexibility. You just stick your commercials in, and they will play randomly whenever you put those carts in there. This will automatically schedule everything exactly the way you ask it to be scheduled. And there you are. And there is the log beginning at 12 midnight. And at 12 midnight it is what I said before, except that we've added in here that Take Two with Jerry and Debbie is the program that's going to play there. And then it will go to the break at 12:27, and it's going to play a spot for Nice Air, which is a minute long, and one for Janet Medford Today. And then it will switch back to EWTN. This is a very important thing I wanted to point out to you here, and you'll see this on all my logs. This says Take Two T2ID. T2ID means that it's going to display on the screen of the computers of the people who are listening and their iPhones and tablets and so forth the information about that program. It's going to say Take Two with Jerry and Debbie, what time it's on the air, and all the information about that show. Without this, if you're listening or watching, it's like TV with the audio but no video. This doesn't add video to it, but it adds the words to it, and it also will eventually display the pictures of the people who are on. Then when we go to the break at the top of the hour, it's going to play the Catholic calendar, and then when it goes away from there, Debbie and Jerry and Debbie their information will go away, and the Catholic calendar information will appear on the screen of the phones and the tablets and the computers. And then A Moment with the Word will play, a little bit of film music, and then the legal ID. This is exceptionally important. I can't stress enough how important this sort of thing is. And I want to tell you that it is laborious to put it together initially. Once it's done, it's done. You don't have to do it over again to provide all this information. And in addition to that, I'll tell you in another video how you can add in all of the pictures of everybody who is appearing on there. But you have to go in and size those as well. So the setup procedure is a bit laborious. Once it's done, it stays done, and the only thing you need to do is manipulate it around as EWTN changes their program schedule. So this is a log. I will show you one other thing about this log. Let me go up here and go to Tools. And in this particular case, I'm going to go to the Avails distribution. This is going to show you in Avails distribution what's going on here. It says that we had 152 Avails for that particular day that you're looking at, and we actually used 101 of those Avails. A Moment with the Word was played 12 times during the day. The Catholic calendar was played 4 times during the day. And then our underwriters or sponsors like Joseph Stevens was 15 times a day. Nicer was 18 times a day. Our Lady Queen of Peace Catholic Cemetery was 11 times a day. And then there's a bunch of promos and so forth that are in there under my name that played a total of 24 times. You can get this report every day, and it will show you exactly the spread of how many times particular spots are playing. This Deacon Cienzo played 6 times. It's a limited number of times that it plays on that particular day. And in the setup procedure, you can set this up to play at any hour of any day. I'll close out here, and I will go to the let's take a look at the where we set this up in the broadcast orders, and we're going to let's go to the Ron Crider one, because that'll show you more things that are going on here. So we'll click on Ron Crider. We're going to click on Schedule. You get into the schedule, you will see all the different things that we're running under my name. And let's click on this one here, Janet Medford. And here it shows that it's going to run TFN, till further notice, between midnight and midnight. And it's going to play 8 times a day. It's a 60-second spot. And you can change this for any amount of time you want it to play. Now, this is if you want to equally distribute it throughout the day, 8 times a day. Play it whenever you want to, as long as you get 8 times a day in, that's just fine. You can also set it to day part and say, I only want it to run between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. I only want it to run between midnight and 6. Any way you want to do it, you can have it your way. Once that's done, it stays in there. Then you have a preemption level down here. And this says don't preempt this at all. I want to run 8 times a day and don't change it. But I could set this to a preemption of a 9 that says, I don't really care. Play it when you can, and if you have other sold commercials or underwritings, you can bump this out. It doesn't really make any difference. So the difference, though, in an EWTN clock is that all the breaks are mandatory, meaning that all the breaks have to be filled with the proper amount of time. If they are not filled, the program will alert you and say, uh-oh, you've done something wrong. I noticed when I was showing you this just a minute ago, there was one break error in that log that I should have gone in to fix, and that meant that there was one break that was probably short by 15 seconds or something. Then I can just throw another spot in there to cover it up. Usually there's no break errors at all, and you can do these things a week in advance if you want to. But it's a great way to spread your underwritings out, and then you can give an affidavit to people and show them exactly when their underwritings played, how many times they played. It's a marvelous program. It's called Natural Log. So I hope this was informative, and let me know if I can do anything for you. Ron Crider at gmail.com. Text me, 772-913-2209, and you have a great day.